Continue to profile the country's cabinet ministers marking their 100 days in office. And this morning we welcome Co-Operative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa. His portfolio is vast. Among others, he's responsible for overseeing the functioning and the performance of local governments and municipalities to ensure that they operate effectively and then provide essential services to communities. But also he needs to focus on building their capacity to function well. Minister Hlabisa, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time. It's your first outing as a minister. We know you served as an MP and an MPL. So how have the first 100 days or so been for you?
Good morning, Imani, and all the viewers of Newzroom Afrika, the people of South Africa. The first 100 days has been an amazing time, a fulfilling time, and a revealing time of actually understanding closely at a national level the state of our municipalities in South Africa. Of course, I have been a councillor for 24 years before I became the MPL, but being a minister for the first time since the 3rd of July has widened my eyes to understand the complexity of the challenges facing the local government, but of course, I am equipped with solutions.
And I want to hear what those solutions might be. I mean, when you think about the complexity, I think there are 7 big, chunks of responsibilities that you have as a ministry, including things like policy making and so on. When I think of CoGTA, I think of it in the same way that I do air traffic control towers, this nexus of all the role players in aviation to ensure smooth takeoff, the flight and landing. Would you say that's an apt description of your ministry and department?
Well, more or less, the Ministry of CoGTA is a complex ministry because you are responsible for all 257 municipalities in South Africa, which governs every citizen at a close range, which is a first stop government closer to the people. Whenever they need something, they think of their local government, wherever it is, even if it is water, although there is a ministry for water and sanitation, but their first call will be the municipality closer to them. Could it be electricity? Could it be the potholes? Everything that affects them, irrespective under which department it belongs, but their first call of entry is the local government, which is the responsibility of the Minister of CoGTA, and also the traditional and quiescent leaders throughout South Africa, the kings, the queens, the traditional principal leaders, as well as Amakosi. They all belong to this ministry.
And that's why we have to cherry pick our discussion today, right? So we'll just go to some of the big headline issues that must sit on your table and pulsate like a beating heart. So we talk about dysfunctional municipalities, which are still the blight of our country, Minister. People's lives are directly impacted by their poor functioning. You said in Parliament recently, 41 of the country's 257 munics, this is around 16%, are currently under administration. This number is up from the reported 32 at the beginning of 2024. Do you know what's interesting is some are repeat offenders, like Umkhanyakude district municipality in KZN, 5 times under administration, Madibeng and Tswaing in the northwest, 6 times under administration. And these are just a few of the worst offenders. Radical action is needed to create a zero tolerance for this. What is your plan to not only restore them to normal health, but to ensure that we don't go into this recurring cycle of poor local governance?
Firstly, Imani, as you rightly quote, Umkhanyakude has been under administration for too long. What we are going to do and what we have already done is to assess the people who have been deployed as administrators, their capacity, because if you did not deploy correctly, you may not get the required results. We are reviewing all municipalities that are under administration, the competencies of people who are deployed to assist these municipalities, a clear turnaround plan, and we will be monitoring closely the turnaround plan to see the cooperation on the side of the municipality and the execution of the turnaround plan on the side of the administrator, because we cannot have municipalities under administration indefinitely. We have categorized all of them. We have seen how long have this one been under administration, and we are going to put time frames that within this period, this one must be out of the ICU. Therefore, monitoring will be key to see how are we going to move forward. I am very confident, Imani, by the time we go to the local government in 2026, which is 24 months now, a lot of municipalities, if not all of them, will be out of being dysfunctional municipalities, so that we start on a clean slate in the next local government sphere.
Are you saying, is your undertaking now and your commitment that by 2026, all 257 Munichs will be back in the normal range?
Yes, it is something that we can do in terms of our determination, our theme. Every municipality must work. In terms of dysfunctionality, it is only 35 municipalities that are now confirmed as distressed. That is where we are going to zoom in, and we will start with the 10 worst performing municipalities which we have identified, and those are the municipalities which we want to concentrate on in order to make them get out of a dysfunctionality status. So now, getting all of them out of distressed category in 24 months is something possible, because when we give support, we will monitor, and the municipality must cooperate. If it doesn't cooperate, we will apply push measures.
What does that mean?
No, it's very simple. Iman, when we give you support, the results must be delivered. If you don't cooperate, we need to look at stringent measures to force you to cooperate. And there is no room for non-cooperation.
Yeah, I'm just interested in those stringent measures, Minister Hlabisa, because as we've said in the earlier discussion, you know, even when you bring administrators in, they haven't been up to the task. We need to get rid of people that are ineffective. And that's why I want to get to the heart of what you mean by measures.
No, exactly, Iman. The people who will be deployed, there will be competent people. In terms of the timelines, they must deliver the results, because we are paying them, the administrators. And the municipality, on the other hand, when it is time to hold council meetings must sit, committee meetings must sit. When it is time to adopt the budget must be adopted, annual financial statements must be submitted, and we will be applying pressure. Accountability will be a norm, that if you don't cooperate, there are accountability measures that we will be taking to ensure that you are compelled to comply in terms of the law. In terms of the law, if councillors do not hold meetings, when it is time to approve the upper limits, we may decide not to approve upper limits for those councillors who are not approving budgets, who are not submitting the annual financial statements. There will be stringent measures that we will introduce within the parameters of the law to ensure that everybody performs.
I want to end with this one, and we've seen, and you would have seen concerningly as well, the rising debt of municipalities, the defaulting in paying and making sure that they meet their commitments, whether it is to ESCOM or whether it is to the local water boards. And we see, I think, in just 3 municipalities alone, they are in debt to their local water boards north of 11 billion rand. But at the same time, there's a paradox in local government because we see that in terms of the municipal infrastructure grants, amounts in the region of 60 billion rand are then being returned to the national treasury. And this is so counterintuitive. You need that money, you need that investment, you need to do the work that it's supposed to do in terms of infrastructure maintenance and upgrades, and yet we're seeing monies being returned back. What will you do about that?
Let us start with the municipalities owing ESCOM and water boards. The first thing that we have done, I have written to all government departments because billions of rands are owed to municipalities by government departments who are not paying municipalities. The thing is, if you want municipalities to pay ESCOM and water boards, the government departments must pay what they owe the municipalities. We gave all departments up to end of December that you pay municipalities. If they don't, we will approach the National Treasury that how can we divert money going to departments to go directly to pay their debts to municipalities. And then secondly, municipalities will be compelled to ensure that they pay what they owe ESCOM and water boards. You know, Mfuleni, last month, the workers were not paid. We had to intervene. An agreement was signed between ESCOM and Mfuleni to ensure that on a monthly basis, how are they going to pay what is due to ESCOM until their debt is finished. The same thing with Rand Water at Mfuleni. There is a standing agreement how to pay what you owe the Rand Water so that you pay for the services you receive from the water board. But government departments must do the same to municipalities. And thereafter, we must mobilize business people. We must mobilize ordinary citizens that if you want your municipality to perform, you must pay for services rendered by the municipalities. When it comes to the money that is being returned back to National Treasury, we have identified all struggling municipalities to spend their MIG, the grant for infrastructure. We are going to persuade them, as we have done in Mfuleni. There is a project that is implemented by CoGTA through MISA, as well as at Uthugela district. There is a project that we are implementing on behalf of the municipality in order to avoid money going back to National Treasury, because CoGTA under MISA, we have sufficient expertise, engineers, CFOs, who can assist municipalities in terms of how to report about the expenditure of MIG and how to consume the MIG allocation to avoid money going back. Because when the money go back, it's a punishment to the citizens of that municipality, because they will be deprived of the projects that could have been executed through the MIG allocation.
Minister, thank you very much. I know we've galloped through what is, as you said earlier on, a very complex portfolio. We'll be watching closely. It sounds like there's a big shake-up and turnaround that's coming in the way that you and your team are operating, and we'll continue to watch the space. A promise and undertaking made there that by 2026, in 24 months, all of our municipalities should be returned to normal health. We're going to hold you to that, Minister. Thank you very much for your time this morning. More news and views in just a moment. Stay with us.